what the dates look like. And I think that's kind of the time we was playing with, but it might be something a little different. I gotta see and look. And of course, Dom is back. What up, Dom?
Hey, 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 reporting live from Los Angeles.
Woo, woo. Okay, so because it's part two, I'm still gonna do an icebreaker, right?
Okay.
Because it just helps us get the feel and the mode and the vibe of the podcast.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
what you listening to?
See, I'm not doing this again with y'all because y'all slandered me to hell about what I was listening to. But you know what? I'm gonna keep it cute. I've been listening to a lot of clips.
Okay.
Uh since then, Nick Grant has dropped a new project that I've
Okay.
been listening to. Um and just still Beyonce. You know,
Beyonce is Beyonce.
yeah, it's just really still Beyonce season for me. And I'm in this new era of Cowboy Carter where I really was standing that album until it got to like everything
Hmm.
up into alligator tears, and then I would start it over. And then but now I'm at the second half and I'm really, really enjoying myself. Like every day I play Two Hands to Heaven and just be getting my life. So I think I think that is safe to say. I'm gonna look at my playlist really quick to make sure I'm not missing anybody that I could share with the world. But that's just really, oh, you know what I went back to?
What?
Maybe in Nirvana by Smino.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Smino. It was
yeah.
a Smino concert. Yeah.
I'm a Smino fan. And if y'all not a Smino fan, y'all need to go get hip to Smino. And yeah, so I'm listening to clips, let God sort them out. And Leon Thomas dropped a deluxe
You
edition
mentioned him
of his
before.
project.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm still locked in. So I'm interested to see what my wrapped up list is gonna look like this year because still Coco Jones, but girl, I also been playing the Backstreet Boys. I
Okay.
have to go see that show in Vegas. So that is what I'm listening to. Share
Okay.
your list.
I'm excited, y'all. I've been listening to Justin Bieber because I love Justin Bieber. I love Justin Bieber back in the day. So Justin Bieber got this new project, and I've been listening to Justin Bieber.
I can't
So,
get past track 3.
girl, I've been listening to all of Justin. I'm so excited for this project, and it's just on constant repeat. So him, Beyonce, yes. So I love Alligator Tears. That is my
That
song,
is my
right?
favorite song on that
That is
album.
my song. I have
Yeah.
like a Lover Girl playlist, and Alligator Tears is on there. Two Hands to Heaven is on there. Um, and then I have Desert Eagle on there. So
Okay.
I be listening to my Beyonce, but right now it's Justin Bieber. Right now it's a couple of Beyonce songs, and then I also have like a gospel rotation.
Okay.
So a little bit of Maverick City, a little bit of Kirk Franklin, the new one, not the old one, the new stuff that he's coming out with. So I got that in rotation. And I am actually putting some books in rotation on audiobooks.
Okay.
So I got to get some. I've been looking at some recommendations. I'm part of this book club on Facebook. And then sometimes they just be too wilding for me. Because when I be
Yeah.
asking for like recommendations on like, self help or self love or things about that, sometimes it goes from, oh, this book helped me when my through my divorce, and then it comes into a whole different spiral, and I don't be trying to hear all that. I just be trying to.
Girl. So the book I'm currently reading is Matriarch uh
Oh, I
by
read
Tina
that. That was
Knowles.
so good. I'm keep
Yeah,
on my
I
clothes,
I
okay?
am at the part where she just had Beyonce. So I have my thoughts already,
I like it. What's your thoughts?
but
Because I already read it before. I read
okay,
it.
okay. So I got Matthew knows we got beef, Unc. We just have beef. So I know, which is funny because we are gonna do a part 2 about dating and
Mhm.
our. So it's just crazy to read that out the gate this nigga was a cheater. Like y'all married,
Yeah.
it's the second week y'all married and you are cheating. Like I And but also understanding, revisiting the article where Beyonce kind of interviewed herself for Vogue, and she
Mm-hmm.
talks about
I read the
how
article.
she comes from a bloodline of where like men have cheated on their partners. So it's so interesting to see, and it's how she just simply glazed over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not done yet, so I don't, I don't know the ultimate demise and how what her words say.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen spoilers where I know that they were still sleeping with each other after they divorced, but it takes me back to when it was right before Destiny's Child broke up,
Mm-hmm.
and the whispers that we were hearing about Matthew's infidelity. And that was what, 1998, early 1999. And then even in our adult years, Tina filing for a divorce and nobody showing up to court. And then they're together, and then it just ultimately, he leaves her. So I'm interested. Matthew, have you grown? Are you cheating on your new wife? Are you still the same guy? But I will say, full on boss move. I do appreciate him allowing her the space to take care of her parents when they were sick. And look, you don't
Yep.
have to
Yep.
work. Like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna be out of debt in 6 months. Whoop de whoop de whoop.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
But and that was Matthew's thing. Like, I was like, okay, I see how you are attracted to him. Like, he is gonna always figure it out. So, child, I mean, mouth on the floor.
Girl,
Mouth
so
on the floor. I was like, oh, he not new to that. He true to that.
he'd been a cheater because if you remember, he was a cheat. He was at the party where they met. He was
Hmm.
with a girl already.
Oh, see, I didn't realize he was with a girl. I just know
He was with a girl
how he rolled up
already.
on her and then thought that it was his homeboy girl. And so he was asking her all these questions. So she was vague because she was just offended how he even walked up on her. So,
That nigga was cheating already, girl. Ooh, so yeah, so you will like that. I love matriarch. I love that book.
yeah.
I feel like Tina put her heart and soul into it, and she just really, got us all together. And then just moving forward. So if y'all remember last time, part one, what them dates look like or what them dates do. Remember, we working with the title. So we talked about what we need to look for. We talked about the type of guy you want. We talked about how to prepare yourself for the type of guy. We talked about well, we didn't finish about correct questions, and we gonna go there. But we also talked about like how do you approach, not like, hey boy, give me your number, but just like a subtle, like a little hint. We talked about that. We also talked
Mhm.
about dimension, maybe go to a sport event and you'll probably bump into somebody. So those are some things that we kind of discussed on part one, right? So part two, we're gonna talk more so about like what do you not bring to the table, but in the book, Tina really struggled with her self-image, her self-worth.
Mhm.
She struggled with
Which is so wild because sorry to cut you off.
oh, you good.
Just because growing up, Tina was like a little bit of a tomboy, like a pretty
Yeah.
tomboy. We're gonna say a gentle tomboy, if
A
you
gentle
will.
tomboy.
A gentle
Yeah.
tomboy. She knew when to hold them. She knew when to
And
fold
with the
them.
photo.
Pretty
Yep. Because she was
honestly,
gonna beat that girl ass,
she
remember?
was gonna beat that girl ass.
She was gonna
Okay.
beat that girl ass.
And they was like, "What you doing, Tina?" She was like, "Oh, she want to fight. I don't know her, but we can make it do
We
what
can
it
do
do."
it. Yep, that's her.
Um, but under like it, and it wasn't, and I would say it sort of was something that kind of developed because we saw her be out
Hmm.
the gate very strong. And she even talked about,
Very
when she
strong.
spoke about different things and how they would just call her bad. And she said she realized as an adult, in her later years, that she had ADHD. She likely had ADHD, which
HD,
had,
yep.
she was bouncing off the walls, and like her attention span was so
So
short.
short. Hmm.
Um,
Geared
but
toward creative things.
yeah, but
Mhm.
it's so weird to kind of really see that. Or is it one of those things where it is the time
Mhm.
that they grew up where Matthew's behavior is totally normal, it's totally accepted because we would see people. I mean, I can speak from experience, and not from the side of my father.
Mhm.
Like my father, I mean, my mom died, I was so young, but I
Mhm.
know they had troubles in their marriage. I don't it Fidelity has never come up, but I
Mhm.
know his father,
Mhm.
you know, had all these kids with my grandmother, and then had a
Mhm.
whole nother family across town, and was with that woman that was on the across town.
Right.
So it's just normal behavior. So is it like some weird conditioning that happens where you learn this behavior and it makes you question your self-worth?
It makes you question your self-worth. And I think because she kept remember she went to private Catholic school, right?
Hmm.
So, and I coming from somebody who came from private Catholic school, it's definitely different when you have nuns as teachers. Um the image of being perfect and poised and pretty, and for girls of course, but the three P's, right? And so she stated that like she could never sit still. Like you said, she could have never been the most perfect, the most prettiest. And what I mean by poise, remember in the book she said that she had a smart mouth. And
Hmm.
so if we're thinking about a little girl who's poised, obviously she's not snapping back at you.
Yeah.
So they had, when you have that constant ridicule of your personality, that does, hurt your self-worth. That does
Yeah.
hurt. Like, am I good enough? Like, am I being too me? Because this is me. Like, some things other people do not like about you, those traits, but that's who make you. Those
Yeah.
are the
Yep.
traits who, how you become yourself. And
Yeah.
so when you don't feel worthy of safe love, like Matthew, then you end up dating like a Matthew. You end up,
And it's so crazy. And I think what attracted her to Matthew, I mean, of course, it was the flash. Like we'll learn
of
because
course.
and so them growing up poor and her really not understanding that until what later in elementary school,
You're in
on
elementary, she didn't
top
get
of
it.
school, really,
Mhm.
like you said, the nuns trying to break her. But I don't know, like I think, but it also understanding I that first part, her childhood, uh really, really made me understand why she is the way she is about Solange and Beyonce. Because
Yeah, I like that she protects them.
yes, and she speaks
She
up.
protects
They not
them.
gonna say nothing, but she gonna say it for you. And I love that because she didn't receive that because
Mm-mm.
her mom was this devout Catholic
Catholic, yep.
and was more like you said, more of the meek, pretty
Yeah.
voice,
Boys, yeah.
whereas she's polar opposite. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's funny because when you talk about that, it takes me back to my childhood, and I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
about certain conversations that I had that paved the way for how I would step going forward in life. And anytime P teachers would say something crazy, I don't care what y'all talking about. What my mama said to me is law.
Right. For
And
sure.
like in understanding that adults could be jealous of children.
Adults can be very jealous of children, and I work in schools, right? So by me being in schools and seeing how adults interact with those children that they are jealous of, or they just have a vendetta against, and I could never understand, but please believe it is adults who have vendettas against children. And
Yep.
I just be thinking to myself, how do you have a vendetta against somebody who has to ask you to go to the restroom? But let's start right there. But hey, it's your life, it's your world. Whatever you want to be mad at, be mad at. But when you have that, that teacher or staff who has that vendetta against the children, like Tina did, she took up for her kids. She took up for
Mhm.
Solange. She took up for Beyonce. She took up for Michelle. Not Michelle kind of, but
Michelle,
Kelly. I meant to say
she
Kelly.
was taking for all of them girls,
She
all
took
of
up
them.
for all the girls. I meant to say Kelly, and then what was her little niece that used to live with them? She mentioned in the book her niece lived with them.
Oh, you talking about Angela?
Angie. And yeah. And
Yeah,
she
I ain't
took
that
up for
far yet.
Angie. Oh, my bad.
No,
My
no,
bad.
no. It's
Okay.
I think because Angie always around. So I
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
their niece. Well,
yeah,
they cousins. They like
yeah,
cousin
yeah,
sisters. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Because I remember, 'cause 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 I remember, like when we talk about the spelling, I remember, learning early on that Beyonce was named after Tina's last name, but then when you
Yep.
saw Angela's name
It's
and
a
how it
different
was spelled, it
spelling.
was different. So I was like, the conversation was like, oh my God, they made Angie change the spelling of her last name so it wouldn't be confusing. And now you learning like, no, like all of them niggas like got different spellings of it.
Yeah.
So
You are learning that. So that's what we talked about. So we just mentioned about Tina, right? And we mentioned
yeah.
about Tina. We mentioned how she picked Matthew and this the whole dating thing and self worth. One thing I can say, and then again with dating, if you're not exploring yourself, right? Like if you're not figuring out what you like about yourself, what you want to work on about yourself, what you, I guess, dislike, because it is some dislikes that I have about my own self. Sometimes I think I'm a little too much.
When you,
Uh, not too much. I want to use that. Let me break that up. Let me break that up.
because I was
Not
about
too
to
much,
say
but
you were
sometimes it's things that I know I can work on that, or
okay. I like
that can be
I like
better.
that.
Not too much, because nobody's not too much. Okay. But back to what if you remember before she met him and she had to go back, home because her parents got sick. She was living her life in LA. She was
Hmm.
doing what she was. She said that she was going to the museums. She was really, really, excuse me, figuring out herself. And I think if she had more time to explore who she was, would we get a Matthew? Like, would she have dated a Matthew?
But then we don't get Beyonce.
But then we don't get
We don't get
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
But then we
So
don't get Beyonce.
it's funny because when we think about things like that, I know I was talking to my sister in law the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about um my relationship and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like so we were going in and I remember saying like the thing that I think as I learn about my family history when
Mm-hmm.
it's like regarding dating and how I don't want to repeat the past
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to dating and relationships and having somebody that fully chooses me.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so she was like a little concerned. She was like, well, do you think that your partner is not enough or does not do it? And I said, no, it's not that. I said, there are things that I would definitely change, but you know, I think I'm sorry, it's the dog, and
It's
I
okay.
wasn't sure if you could hear that, and that's why I was like, oh wait,
Nothing.
okay, cool. So I'm like, it's not that I don't love this person, it's not that I don't care about this person. It is just like, is this it for me? Now, also, I will lead with I'm an Aquarius, so big personality.
Personalities.
Am I like I know I'm fulfilling myself, and like you said, there are things that I am working on. There are things
Yeah.
that I want to get better at. Like, but when I say things like that, y'all, I don't want to procrastinate. I
Mm.
want to, okay, this is on the list. I want to do it right now, not 30 minutes from now, which turns into 2 hours from now. So like breaking those habits and creating better habits, y'all. When it
Procrastination
comes to
is
me,
mine too.
yeah. And I think about how I show up as a partner and
Mm-hmm.
how I have shown up as a partner even in previous relationships. And I believe that I fully show up. And so when you're dating a person, especially a person that is in that entrepreneurial realm where their time is kind of all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a client here, this client is like, you got to do this. Okay, we had planned to do this, but I gotta go meet with this client and get to this bag because this could be a $30,000 bag. You know what
Right.
I mean? So
Sure.
I get it. So you have to. So that's a little tough for me to adjust to still, to this day. And we've been seeing each other for a while. And you're questioning, is this what I want?
Is it
But
what
then I
you
realized I like men like Michael B. Jordan, and it's gonna be the same shit. So it's like,
and being like Michael B. Jordan needs structure. If you gonna say you're gonna be there at 10 o'clock, you gotta be walking in the
Michael
place
B.
at
Jordan is an
9:55.
Aquarius. Sis.
But no, the reason why I said, okay, he is an Aquarius, but you got to think about what he does. So it's not just behind the scenes acting, it's like
Yeah.
events, it's like dinners, it's like
Yeah.
business
No,
meetings.
that's
That's what I'm
absolutely
thinking about.
true. Um, sidebar, they're gonna say, what about my dude, Mr. Larson? Actually, it's Richard Lawson because
Who is,
Daryl said it in the chat. We not there yet, D. I
who is
haven't gotten
Richard?
that far.
Who is Richard Lawson?
You know, Richard Lawson is Tina's ex, well, the new ex-husband.
Oh, we got to talk about that. See, we
Well,
not
no, no,
thinking
no,
of
no,
it.
no, no. We don't have to because I'm not there yet.
Oh, you're not there yet, but no, girl, keep wait a minute, because it's something. Because just hold on, because I we talked about bringing stuff to the table. I just remembered, and we didn't get to finish that conversation from part one too. So that's all.
You know, okay. So sorry, guys.
No, that's
ADHD
okay.
brain. So that was one of the things, that I was speaking about, and wondering if this is enough for me.
Oh, okay.
Like we talk about, equally yoked, and equally yoked means like, yes, you guys balance each other out, but then somebody is like pouring into you a certain way. And so the other day, I was like having this battle because, being laid off and figuring out what looks like next. And I was like, oh, okay. In the meantime, I could substitute teach. I'm going to apply to substitute teach
You
because it
should.
allows me to be flexible. But I also, low key, I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I am a person that likes kids and want this generation, this that's up and coming, to be better, to do better, and all of that stuff. Not that I'm going back to school to teach. Like I said, flexible. I still got dreams and goals.
Right.
And so I was telling him that, and then he was like, well, what are you doing with your candle business? And I was like, oh, it was on hiatus. But right now, I'm like gonna focus on this, and then I want to look at grants, but there's so many things that I want to do, but I have to map out the time. So when we had the conversation, that conversation went a lot better than the first conversation, and it made much more sense, where it wasn't like somebody was just saying all this information and I'm like already in hyper overdrive and grieving, and so my brain is all over the place. So
Yeah.
now it made sense. So I was like, man, maybe I really do love you, nigga. Like, I do.
Can you?
Because
You just brought up. You literally just did a whole scenario, and I don't think you realized what you did.
oh, I know
You
what I
literally,
did.
you
No, I
literally
didn't.
can you be coachable by your nigga? Can you be coachable
Yeah,
by your husband, by your man? And also, you
absolutely.
mentioned, I don't want to forget this, but you're right, equally yoked, but I want to make sure that things are aligned.
Yep.
So for me, it has to be aligned. So whatever his goals and purpose is in his life, and how does that align with my goals and my
Yeah,
purpose in life, and how we can, move forward going forward. And if
absolutely.
things do not align, like if I'm not talking to nobody who's a McDonald worker, okay? Because it's cool for those who like McDonald working. But if he working at McDonald's and the only thing that he feels like his purpose is to become the fried chief, I don't know. I'm just making up something. I don't even know if they have a fried chief. I'm just making up a word. And your purpose is to become a doctor. How does that align? Like how does
You
that go
know,
together? And it can be as much love. You can love him down. You
yep.
can love her down, and y'all can be just forever, just. But one thing that I also read, in when you are loving to someone, you love is an action word, but it's also a feeling. So I love this person so much that I'm going to change my actions, right? So I love this person so much, and I'm gonna see how I can be aligned to the purpose of what we're trying to build. Because if I
Yeah,
don't, I'm going to lose them. And you got to love somebody enough not to lose them.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's facts. But Ria, I think often when it comes to us as women,
yeah,
um, we're consistently told that, so many ways, shapes, or form that we can't have it all.
we are.
And we can, and you can have it all, and then we talk about like, but at what cost? So like, what are you going to sacrifice? What are you willing to change? And where are you willing to compromise? And it's the same thing for men too, because men don't realize like they're very linear and they're box checkers. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if these other boxes are checked and this one isn't checked, you have men often, like you said, miss out on somebody that they really loved, and that, like you said, not only is this a verb, but it's a feeling.
It's a
Like you're
feeling.
sure it's a
Yeah.
feeling that you have. Also, I date an Aquarius man who is very pragmatic and has similar. So for sometimes Daryl is like this too as a friend, and Daryl is my brother, but where they look at love as just a feeling, not an action.
They
But
don't
there, I'm
see
like, but there are
it.
things that you do. I said that coincide with it, that show you that is also like my God now, like because he knows.
I am Dom with the Uncaped Mama podcast. What can you expect on the Uncaped Mama podcast? Well, one, you can expect me talking about all types of topics related to motherhood and parenting. So things like, things I've already talked about here, right, are um, going through loss and experiencing loss and rebuilding your relationship with yourself. I've talked about child support and all the issues surrounding that. I'll talk about money and finances. I've talked about self care for parents. I will have myself, I'll have guests, I will have funny and light topics and also some more serious topics. My goal here is for moms to take their capes off, be okay with the good, bad, and the in between that comes with motherhood, and to be able to shape your journey the way that works best for you and your children. You are unique. You are different. There's lots of advice out there and a lot of information you can process. And my goal is for you to determine what works best for you. So that is the purpose of the Uncaped Mama podcast. That is what you will see here. Make sure to like, subscribe, listen, follow, engage with me. I would love to connect with you, and I'll see you on the next.
Knows I'm a big person about quality time,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows that, and so he's like, even if it's something where it's like I got this quick break and it's an hour and a half, can we hang out? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. And then he'll be like, thank you for hanging out with me. That is your love language. That is how you show up.
That's right. That's right. And
So,
that's really good that he recognized that and he sees that, because I can tell, well, I don't know. How many conversations have you all had for him to see? I'm just trying to say
because
it.
and guys, when I say because Ria don't know, but Ria knows
I
because
know.
we have to repeat ourselves to see. I'm a person, I don't like to repeat myself.
I don't like repeating
I
myself
don't like to
either.
repeat because then y'all gonna think that I have an attitude and now I'm on
Or
bitch.
that I'm nagging.
Yes. And it's all those things. But you know what happened? I already previously asked you. And then it'll be, we
Mhm.
never had the conversation when we
Right.
absolutely had the conversation.
We definitely had the conversation. I think, but that takes patience, right?
Yeah.
Because you gotta. I was having this conversation with one of my good girlfriends, and she was like, "You have to teach people how to love you. Like,
Yep.
you can't just assume that they know everything about
Yep.
you. Not only do you have to teach them, you got to be patient. You got to be patient so they can get it wrong and to get it right. Because if you just come out here and just assume, like I told you this 17 times, well, guess what? On the 18th time going forward, you got it right. So if you would have left at the 16th time, then you wouldn't have gotten what you wanted. It
Yeah.
takes, but the reason why I stated that is because for us, right? Sometimes it takes us a minute too. So you want
Yeah.
somebody to be just as patient with you as you are with them. So you have
Oh,
to give them
absolutely.
patience. Oh, that's something for dating. Make sure that you have patience for them just like they have patience for you,
Yeah.
because it's supposed to align and be equally yoked. So
Absolutely.
that's
And
something else we have to look at.
and I want to encourage anybody that's listening to not settle,
Don't
you
say
know, because you're never going to be fulfilled, or don't allow outside voices to kind of navigate your relationship. And I remember there's this guy, uh, which one day we'll have a conversation about Libras, but there's this guy that,
I love a Libra. My dad's a
listen, I
Libra.
love a Libra, but a Libra loves to be with the shenanigans. So Um, but and he was like, he was a white guy,
Okay.
but very, very cultured.
Okay.
And I remember like he asked me out, and it was this whole thing. And then it would be years later before we ultimately kind of start seeing each other on the low. But he's like a promoter out here.
Right, right.
And we were like much younger. He's definitely older than me. But like when I kind of mentioned it to some like former girlfriends, you know, I remember somebody kind of saying, "Oh, he's kind of like slimy though. Like there's something about him that's just kind of creepy." And I was like, in my entire like,
Please tell me more about the. If you're not about to tell me, I want
yeah,
to
no,
know
no, no.
about
But
the
that's what I'm like.
creepiness.
I'm like, you got the ick. What is it? But then like they couldn't really put their finger on it. And that always stuck with me. And then now I'm like paying attention and I'm like trying to look for something. But I really like this guy.
For sure.
And so for me, I kind of backed up from the situation. And I'm not a person that ever really allows people to influence anything like that. I've never
Right.
been that girl, but sometimes people can pick up on things, and because you like, I like somebody, they see things that you don't know, like that you
I
don't realize.
say that happens a lot with a group of girlfriends, and that has happened to me before. So I'm not gonna sit up here in front and like I'm just so much wisdom. It took a minute to get to this wisdom, but when you are happily in the situation
Hmm.
and everything is feeling right, you getting that dopamine rise, like everything is so good, you don't see the red flags that the other person or your group of girlfriends or your siblings may see because they looking at things at face value and you're
Yeah.
just caught up in the clouds.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. And then I remember pulling back from him. Like we would hang out all the time, like go to dinner,
Yeah.
everything, and like just kick. And it was just kind of fun because it was like not that it was like this secret, but it was like it was our thing. And so we had our bubble. Like I would crash at his house all the time, like go to work from his house, come back over there and like hang out. But there was never the conversation of what is this?
What are we doing? Yeah.
And so I kind of started to pull back
Yeah.
and remove myself from the situation and just kind of disappear. And so I would see him out and be like, hey, it would be regular, but we know Libras. Libras will be a little extra and spiteful, but it would be like years later where I would kind of tell him what happened. I said, I just really liked you and wasn't sure if it was reciprocated. And so, and instead of having that hard conversation with you, I just kind of fell back.
Right.
Because it wasn't like, oh, I felt like he was messing with other girls or anything, but I just didn't want to get my feelings hurt.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when it comes to dating, and I'm happy that's a perfect segue. With dating, you're gonna get your feelings hurt.
I know.
Your
And it sucks, y'all. It sucks,
egos,
y'all.
your egos will get bruised
Yes.
because you gotta think about it, right? If you're putting yourself out there and you're being as vulnerable and you're trying to show your true self, not too much now, but you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to not too much on that cake, but you're trying to show your true self, then yeah, you
You
do
so
get
funny.
hurt. Yeah, you do get hurt with um trying to find somebody because you're opening yourself up to meeting somebody new and then don't let you like the person. Now if you like the person and then y'all gradually start spending time with each other and then even though y'all not together, like it's too early to define, but you still liking them,
But
that
it's crazy
weird.
because I'm like, we just went on a date. How come you don't love me today? Like,
Listen, if I call
I am
you,
that girly.
if I call you, if I am FaceTiming you, if I am like texting you throughout the day, we together in my mind. Like, what do you mean you're
Yeah.
not my boyfriend? What do you
Yeah,
mean you
absolutely.
don't in love? You're not in love with me. But that's like the delulu, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, you got to get to know people. You got to see if things are aligned. You got to see if everybody's working like they're supposed to be working. And what I mean by that is like, um, do you have a life outside of me? Because, you know, going back to what you said, trying to have everything all at once, Yeah, we can, but something gonna suffer. And I think y'all know Tia Samara show, the mama. What was her name? The mama on Tia Samara show.
Oh, Jackie Harry, Jackie Harry.
Jack K.
Lisa.
Jack K did an interview or just
Uh-huh.
a talk with Tia, whose divorce is Tia, right? She did a talk with Tia, so she was like, she had the house, she had the kids, she had the car, she had the husband, and she had all four, but she couldn't have all four together, working together at the same time, being good. Because when she had the house, car, the money, and everything, the husband was out there cheating. I don't know if y'all know this, but I just found out when I'm telling you about this. Her husband actually, she found out he was gay in the marriage. So they're best friends now. But she found out that yes, ma'am, he was having an affair in the marriage. But they best friends. She said it before. And I
Wait a
mean,
second. You sure? You sure it's those twins? That Corey Hardick.
you know
Um,
Jack K husband.
you talking about Carlton, Carl that yes,
Yeah,
Charles.
Jack K, yeah, him. She
Now
found
and now okay, now
Y'all
Jack A.
was
Let's
not
talk
talking
about
about Tia Corey Hardry, because Tia, let me tell you, you need to go back to Corey before I find him.
yeah, Elgin
Not
Charles.
bring
He
his
had a
feet.
react. Yeah, Elgin Charles had that. Used to have a salon in Beverly Hills. Now I'm not gonna do Jack A like that today.
But
That looked like a lavender marriage to me. But what do I know? But no, but you know,
because you
it's
can't have
about
everything all at the same time.
yeah, and I think do I think it's possible? Yes. Does it require a lot of balance? Absolutely. And you have to, and I know that a lot of things change when people have kids. So like I look at my sister-in-law for example, and them having three kids, and
Yeah,
her,
sure.
having her career. My brother's an actor.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like long days on set,
Yeah,
and I help them wherever I can, which, it's been more frequently since I'm laid off.
for sure.
But, it's just, it also puts a lot of perspective in to why the village is important too.
The village
Like
is
your circle and who you keep around and how people where you could be slacking or you need that extra at that moment can show up for you.
that's true. You do need that. And I think when we talk about things like that in your village, like, can you trust your village, right?
Yep.
Can you trust everybody in your village? Because sometimes we got some people in our village that are actually snipers. And so
Oh,
the reason,
absolutely.
you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like,
Yeah.
can I trust you around my kid? Because, or just like we said, giving good advice, getting good dating advice, because it takes a
Yeah.
lot for somebody to even be vulnerable in that dating space.
Yeah.
Like I do. I be wanting you to love me the first day you meet me. But honestly, it takes my friends to take my head out the Delulu cloud and be like, you know what? That's probably impossible because he only met you for 2 hours tops. And so I'm thinking to myself, that's enough time. Like,
It's
I'm
more than
wonderful.
enough time.
That's more than
More
enough
than
time.
enough time. You
But
know,
yeah,
I maybe it's one of those things where, you know, because we're sold this fairy tale and understanding that the fairy tale really doesn't exist.
I like
And we
that.
have to create our own fairy tales by our own guidelines. And so it's
I like
also
that.
an unlearning factor to
Mhm.
love in relationships
Yeah.
because everybody's situation looks different.
Mhm.
Everybody's season looks different. And
Everybody
it'll be a
feeling
lot of
different.
times, where your nigga might be the beast and you you bail, you know what I mean? So,
Whew.
um,
Yeah.
and you trying to like say, hey, like, yeah, I know this has been chaotic for you for however long this stronghold has been on you that we trying to get released, but this is just a moment. This too shall pass. So,
Yeah.
like you said, but that's why it's important to have somebody that you actually give a damn about.
You
You
gotta like the
know,
person.
you gotta like the
You
person.
gotta like them. I mean, yes, you love. We said love, but you gotta like them too, right? Like, you gotta have a general like for them.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes a lot of these relationships, yeah, they love them, but do you like them? Like, are y'all like,
Which would make sense as to how we had such a high divorce rate during lockdown, during
yeah,
COVID,
and
because you
I
spent
divorced rate during COVID.
yeah, because you were spending all this time with this person and you realize you don't know this person and you get to know them and like, yes, we're in a dark time, but this person is actually low key a terrible person.
This person
You,
is horrible.
it's
Like
horrible.
they are horrible. They're a horrible person to me. Let's just say that because they could be a good person. They're just not a good person for me or a good person to me. And of course, we're going through a trauma, a traumatic event. So obviously, it's going to be a high stress event, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't leave, you can't get out, you can't, do all the things you wanted to do. But you're right. During that time, it was like, how do I even know you? Like, do we even know each other? It's kind of like what you said earlier, how kids coming into a relationship can really show that true person. Like, it shows the true colors of a dad and it shows the true colors of a mother.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, what questions were you asking? So speaking of what questions were you asking, what are you bringing to the table? So I remember we left off on this, and
Mhm.
girl, please help us out because I don't hear that. I still don't hear what are you bringing to the table.
Yeah, I've never heard that. We said that before. Like I've never in my entire dating history, I've dated your ballers, rappers, businessmen, all doctors. No one has ever asked me that. I don't know if that's a black thing. And we're gonna say red pill talk because I think there's a space of where and Daryl and I have talked about this so much
Yeah,
where um navigating that space because there are people that'll probably have certain ideals or thoughts about me based on proximity to people or certain funny things that I could have said online and saying all these crazy things about me. And it's like, you really want to drink my bath water, but I would never give you the time of day. So you're the next best thing
I
for
would
you to
never give
do,
you that access to me.
yes, is
Mm-hmm.
to slander me and try to tear me down, to break me. And I really
For
don't
sure.
care what you're doing. Cause like, look at this, the whole discourse surrounding Meg and Clay Thompson. And they're public now and
Got some thoughts on that, but go ahead.
it's okay. But everybody is putting it back on her as if she's not worthy of
I was about to
love,
say that. Yeah.
of having a partner that supports her. People are concerned because she said he's the first person to really be nice to me, to be kind to me. And it's like, oh, she's going to break him. She's going to walk all over him, run for and I'm like, why can't it just be that I am sharing this experience with this person at this time? That doesn't mean that we're getting married. It doesn't mean that we're not getting married, but we're still dating and getting to know each other. And we ultimately are dealing with things where society, and we've allowed a certain part of society to create narratives around dating and what that looks like. And it's a lot of the people that are in the
Sorry,
special need class that
yeah.
are creating this dialogue around what women should do, what women shouldn't do, what men should do, what men shouldn't do. And it's like a lot of pandering toward the male gaze and minds. And I don't really give two shits about that. And when women, encourage women, when someone asks you what you bring to the table, and if you couldn't realize my value in our conversations before we even got to
Then
the date,
leave.
then excuse yourself from the table and leave.
And then leave because I don't understand why that even is a question. So back to the Megan the Stallion and Clay Thompson thing, right? So it
Uh-huh.
has everything to do with because she's this rapper and because she has dated guys that are not up to Clay Thomas, I want to say caliber, but I don't. I do want to state like maturity, I should say, or kindness. Just think about Tory Lanez. I know, I'm sorry. Just think about him and his moral complex, excuse me, and
Mhm.
think about Clay Thompson. And
Yeah.
it's a totally different one, at least outwardly, right? At least publicly. Now I don't know what Clay Thompson says, behind doors, but publicly he doesn't say as much
He don't
horrendous
say nothing,
things.
period.
Right.
He because you know what he leads with? His actions.
He leads with his actions, and I was going to say that. So sometimes I feel like for Black women, because we started off some way, that we can't have a better, like we can't move forward, right? So think about Tiana Taylor, right, and how she was with Iman Shumpert, and everybody know about how they broke up, and now she's
Absolutely.
with Aaron Pierre, who again is a strong man, but still he's not outwardly. He doesn't have to. He shows with his actions, and so when you have Black women who have had relationships that are roller coasters, other people are expecting them to get with another type of roller coaster relationship
Exactly.
because that's what you attract, right? But once you do the work on yourself, you realize that you don't need to have another roller coaster relationship to realize I don't need to ever experience this again. Once you have worked on
Exactly.
yourself, once you have realized your worth, once you have realized how much love you need to pour into yourself, and for me, once you have realized your relationship with God and have you have came apart, how that has set you apart and how you have really worked on that, then you kind of realize that you don't need any more roller coaster relationships. You don't need
Yep.
any more roller coaster relationships because that is not the plan that God has for you. And then that's not the plan that you should have for yourself. But going back to Megan, they think like that's what she deserves because it was this
Yep.
big thing about her being drunk and dancing and twerking, and her lyrics are so vulgar that she can't have somebody nice. They want her to have somebody like Nicki Minaj, who, girl, I just feel like she is just, baby, you either
But
leave him or leave us out the group chat
and that's
because
and it's that simple. And the funny part about all of this is men always want redemption. Always
you're
want to
always
say that
something
they always be changed. I changed. I'm growing. And but women are not allowed. So that's what we talk about, that double
different.
standard. And it's funny seeing the discourse
And then
around.
I'm sorry, but
Go
you
ahead.
also know that men will also put you in a certain type of box, right? So they already put Megan in that box. They feel like she can't venture outside that box.
Well, yeah, women are viewed, especially, black women, like you said, we're always viewed a certain way.
That's right.
And we're not worthy of anything else when you show a certain case outside of what you walked in with. So when you think about, we see, though Cardi is still rough around the edges, we're seeing an evolution of Cardi B,
We have.
where she got to learn how to but that's the Libra in her that's gonna pop off, and she has to learn how to balance that.
She has
That's
to learn
something
how
that
to bring it back.
she has to dial it back.
She got to learn how to.
um
Megan Thee Stallion got to learn how to dial it back too. I
yeah,
think.
but I told Daryl that I said
Yeah,
we're gonna see an evolution of Megan
like Eve,
where, huh?
like Eve.
Yes, where she, because so much has happened to her at such a young age, similarly to Eve,
Mhm.
where she gonna pop out to do music, and then she's gonna live her best life, and then she'll pop out at an event or something, but you're already kind of seeing it where she's not on the internet as much as and not that she's not on the internet, she's not going live, so she's not tweeting as much, so you're seeing that evolution now. And so then it'll also transcend into her clothing, which I was telling him the other day, I don't know what happened between her and Law Roach. At one point, Law was styling her.
I
So
didn't know that.
I don't know. And that was at a very tumultuous time in her life. So
I
I
mean,
could,
I knew that. I didn't know he stopped. I'm sorry.
yeah, I think, you know, it- like I said, that point in time of her life was very tumultuous. So
Hmm.
I don't know. They probably agreed to part ways
Good.
because I know she eventually checked herself into,
She did.
yeah, and not that it was but like one of those
That,
facilities.
that helps you rest,
Yes,
relax, and then just
yes,
recuperate or regroup. Yeah, she
yes.
did. Hmm.
And so I think with Clay, and not that he's changing her as a person, but sometimes you'll meet some person because like now someone just said this, and this has everything to do with what I'm going to say in the group
Yeah.
chat that I'm in. This young lady said that this man that she's had this crush on, but she doesn't know how to approach him, was out of her league. And I said, let me stop you there, baby. Ain't nobody out of your league. And she was saying, well, it's because he has all his shit together, blah, 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 blah. And I said, so, and somebody else said, aren't those the things that you want in a partner? Just shoot your shot. And I said, hey, absolutely. I've dated men where, they was somebody's like, oh, why is he, or how, and it's just the way that you are, the
Mhm.
way I move, the way I carry myself, the way the conversations and thing, like you said, reading and all these different things, and
Yep.
I can hold my own. And it's a balance.
It's
So I'm
about
the yin to his yang.
it's a
Never,
balance.
and women have to understand that, like, yes, we are everything and we do a lot.
We do a
But
lot.
one thing I'm never gonna say is somebody out my damn league, because niggas fuck couches, man.
So, two things that you had mentioned. So, you're right. I don't think that Clay is out her league. I
Yeah.
do believe that because she was such in a tumultuous state, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes our body is in fight, flight, or freeze. So
Yep.
she was in that fight stage, because she was just trying to get her bearings. But you can have people that come into your life, good friends, or a man or a husband or a boyfriend. Well, I like to say a nigga because I'm still black. But you can have them come into your life and they don't tell you really what to do, but they just bring peace and calmness and consistency to where
Yeah.
you like, oh, I don't have to be that way. Like I don't have to do this. I don't have to be
Absolutely.
flamboyant. That's the only word I can think about. I don't have to do that because it's no reason for me to be in that state of mind. I can be calm, I can be peaceful, I can be myself, I can be my authentic self. And I think we're
Yeah.
going to see that more of Megan being her authentic self. Now, when your
Yeah.
friend said that he's out of her league, so I don't think dudes are out of her leagues, right? I don't think that.
Yeah.
But I think she possibly meant that maybe she's not ready for him, which is a
Yeah.
different because sometimes we
Yeah.
can uh, have guys too, because I am aware that guys do this as well. Sometimes they'll stay away from a girl until they're ready for her. And that's
Yeah.
probably what she meant. She just probably like, I don't know if I'm ready to be that disciplined. I don't know if I'm ready to be that helper, that backbone for him. So maybe not out the league, because you're right. Nobody is out your league because you can just shoot your shot. And if they say no, then they say no. But I just feel like, are you ready for this person for what they're about to offer? That's probably what she means.
Yeah. Well, I update. She shot her shot. So, but it was one of those things where I think sometimes everybody, and the cool thing about this chat in particular is everybody kind of hypes each other up. Everybody call each other on the board if something's crazy or whatever. And someone even said, I think you're really dope. I'm trying to understand, why is he above you? Like, why are you, but that's, she has to figure that out. I don't
She
think it
has
was
to
even
figure
that
that out.
she didn't feel like ready. I just think she was looking at her literal situation. She
Okay.
has a good job or whatever. And so sometimes we, because of, especially in our culture,
Yeah,
we put price points on everything.
me
And
too.
so you assuming that it's this and it is not like that. And so it doesn't hurt to try. And also, we have to get in the mindset of when we are meeting people, we're not trying to, like, we have to stop just jumping into bed with people. Learn how to be friends with people first, because when you just going to have a
Or
drink, if you see,
boundary.
yes, you see how people interact with other people, other men, other women. How do they treat the wait staff? Because this ain't a day. We just went to the bar to grab a drink.
Uh-huh.
So, and you pay attention to things like that. And I do that even in friendships, where I'm like, can this person be my friend? Because if they treat the wait staff a certain way, they talk to them a certain way,
How
I
did
don't need to really be friends with them.
Mhm.
because
It
they
shows
feel like that's
character.
yeah.
It shows their character and how they'll treat you. So I agree with everything
And
that you
how they
said.
treat themselves for real.
And how they treat, and that's, oh, I'm so happy you mentioned that on how you treat yourself, because how you treat yourself is going to determine how good of a guy you're going to think you
Yep.
deserve. Because if you're not treating yourself properly, then you're not going to get the guy that you feel like you deserve. So it
Yeah.
really just starts within yourself.
Yeah.
So those dating questions. So what are some dating questions we need to tell the ladies to ask on those first 1 to 3 dates, or first 1 to 3 link ups? Well, not link ups like, but you know what I'm trying to say. Those words, first one to
Yeah.
three hangouts.
I'm a different kind of dater. I'll be asking, I ask a lot of crazy questions, y'all. And when I say crazy questions,
Please give us the
I'm
crazy
into
questions.
your family history. And it's not that I'm trying to be nosy. I have to think about procreating with you or things like that. What are elements that you could potentially come into in the future, which determine the
Was
dollar
your
amount because
grandma crazy?
right, mental health,
Yeah,
who is undiagnosed. I know in my relationship, I realize how hard and how much everybody relies on him.
yeah.
Is that going to be a problem for me? Building relationship, how are people when it comes to things like that? And so I'm like, do you have braces? Somebody obese? What's your history of cancer? You got high blood pressure? You got diabetes, type 1 or type 2? Like I'm asking questions like that because I need to know, but it's also in that just having an organically honest conversation. I hate small talk. So it's gonna be a way that I
I
even
do.
weave those questions in
I
because
like transparency. Like,
yeah, I pride myself on that. It's funny you bring up experiences because I tell men that I am an experience.
you
So,
can.
you know, buckle up because it's gonna be a wild ride. Like you about to have a great time, but also don't press me or push me because you're gonna see another side of me. And I tell men out the gate, I really don't like repeating myself. I like a man that is an active listener, that understands, that's really absorbing what I'm saying, and not talking to me just to fill up space because you are uncomfortable with just sitting quiet here.
That's
Like while we watching TV, if you know it's a certain show, don't come up in here asking me 25 questions. And
that's
I'm
true.
live tweeting and I'm trying to keep up and no, don't do that to me. But also kind of things like,
Kindness and considerate.
yeah, considerate, consistent, you
Consistent
know,
is, oh, can you be consistent?
what was your childhood like?
Your
That says a
childhood
lot
trauma.
about how people move in their adulthood. Have you gone to therapy? If you haven't gone, are you open to going?
So here's a question I have. So it just popped up. So in your relationship that you have now, do you all talk about childhood traumas or
Mhm,
survival or
mhm.
things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm asking.
Yeah,
Because it's funny because I would say my partner is more of a compartmentalizer, and it's like an onion. Dating Aquarius is like you thought you got to the certain, and then it's like 20 more layers.
or later.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I guess I did keep you guessing. So it's here you go. You gonna return the favor to
So
me.
he's an Aquarius and you an Aquarius.
Yes,
Is he a January one or a February one?
in February.
So
But I
both of
pulled,
y'all.
yeah, so
Okay.
I pulled his chart, but he does have low key a lot of water in his chart. He has a lot of Pisces in his chart. And I told him that I said, you're showing up as a Pisces today, and then his moon is in Libra, which hella makes sense.
Yeah.
And I tell people about Libras, I say, Libras have this internal balance. Y'all like, oh, they balance in life is the scale. No, that's their inner self and their outer
I
self
self.
going to war with each other.
That's
Thank you,
exactly
sis.
what it is. Trying to figure out which
Yeah,
one
trying to
wins.
figure out what
Uh-huh.
it is. And so it's funny because I just chuckle a lot. And so when we were having that conversation the other day, and he was like, well, just let me I said, I'm not saying anything. I said, I just want to let you know that I'm not yelling at you. I was like, I just
Right.
Like I just want to. He's like, no, I know. I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure because I don't want this to be an argument. I'm really absorbing what you're saying to me, and I don't want you to think that I'm not listening to you or that I'm yelling or that you think I'm being smug. I'm not doing any of that. Like, I just want to let you know that I'm hearing you because they'll respond a certain way,
Yeah,
and
if
I'm
they
not
feel
trying to have
offended
that
by it.
today.
Yep. If they feel offended. So we got some good questions. But all in all, honestly, small talk is not really good on the first dates
It's
because
not.
you're trying to learn that person. So I don't small talk on those dates because I don't care about I care about your work day, but
No,
I
you
don't
don't.
want to know. I don't want to
No, you
know.
don't.
I want to know like your wagon that ran away or that broke when you were 7 and you still trying a hard time to forget about it. Like I want to know about stuff
I'm
like
still
that.
upset that my mom didn't give me the Barbie minivan.
See, why do
And
you feel like that's taking up so
because
much space in your life? That
listen,
Barbie
let me tell you
minivan.
something about me and my Barbies, okay?
See,
I was a spoiled brat. Like we were very spoiled growing up. I'm
you
spoiled.
mentioned that before.
Yeah, I was spoiled as a child. So I spoil myself. And when I say I take care of myself, I try to for the most part. Like we talked about developing better habits. And so that's something I am working on.
Uh-huh.
Because for me, it's about I want to consistently get in the gym. It
Yeah.
is we're getting older, so I want to
It is
eat better, like
hard.
developing better
I'm
eating
taking to
habits.
do it, but it's hard.
It's hard. It's
It's
hard.
hard.
And understanding that, I can do, like XYZ, but like really pouring into myself. And what I told my girlfriend the other day,
Yeah.
I said, in this time, I planted seeds that I forgot to go back and water. I want to spend time taming, attending to my garden because I deserve to have this beautiful, bountiful garden and be able to grow these deep roots.
See, that's another thing I think, and maybe that can be another episode you can come in with women. Do you know what you deserve? Because I think a lot of times we just be moving and we don't stop and look at like what we've planted, what we need to tend to, how we need to tend to it, and that will make us more in tune with ourselves. So we don't
Absolutely.
have so much of the worry and the doubt and the fear.
Yeah.
So
And I
I
think,
love that.
yeah, and thank you. And because I was like, oh damn, like I might have said a word when I said that to her, but that's just real because we're all when we think about life as we know it and like all the things that we want to accomplish, we have the capacity
Uh-huh.
to accomplish them, but it is about time management. And I was used to be so good about time management in college because we had a lot of structure. And so I realized that I need structure. So even in this space of freelancing and trying to pick up clients and do different things while I'm still chasing my dream.
For
What does
sure.
that look like? So I was like, okay, well, I know school is from this time to
You
this
gotta
time
plan your day out.
and planning my day out. Should I, end up doing this allows me the flexibility. If I get a casting to go do something, I want to be able to still do that. But it's that structure and it's creating those habits. And it takes 90 days to create a good habit. They say it's
Yeah.
30, it's
It's
really 90.
90. It's
And I
90.
and that to say that aloud is like, oh my God, I've wasted so much time because I've been out of work for almost 3 months, for 3 months now. Like they told me what April 30th, that don't count. It's really May 1st,
Right. For
you
sure.
know? And here we are, it's the middle of June. So it's like, okay, going forward, I have to develop better habits and mapping out my day. So creating a schedule, setting timers because I'm a person, I'll get
That's
sidetracked
good. Yeah.
and where I'll spend too much time on something and then I look up and it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm like, what the hell was I doing?
What did you do with your day?
Yeah. And
Yep.
so it's getting better about that. And so that's where I am now. So like now I have like little projects like I need to do with like my socials
Yep.
and then whatnot. So it's about that and then having a partner that sees that you're trying and sees where you're also falling short and picking up that slack and then balancing it out. It's like, hey, this is just an idea. I'm not telling you how to
It's
live.
a line.
So have you thought
It's
about
a
this?
line.
And have you thought about that? So you want a person that can see that
Mhm.
and feel safe and comfortable enough with you to verbalize that to you, that can help you, because we want to lift each other up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to feel good about your person. And then
Yeah.
one last thing that I know that for we as women, we want to not only feel good about them, but we want to be able to be safe with them.
Yep.
Safe and protected. And can I be my authentic self? And that's really it. And
Yep.
so, yeah.
And
So
I'll say
go
this
ahead.
before we leave. I challenge male, female, non-bi, however you identify.
Bye. Yeah.
If you go out on this date, I challenge you to show up as your true self on that first date.
Please show up as your true self. I'm happy you said that. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Please show up as your true self.
Yep.
Do not bring any facades or any,
It never helps you down the line. It
it
never.
never helps
It,
you.
yeah.
Be your true authentic self.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly what he's getting into. Just like you want to know what you're getting into too. It works both ways, like you
Absolutely,
said.
absolutely. And it's things, you know, and take a moment to reflect. I think we move
Ooh, I
so
like
we're
that.
so busy trying to let go and move forward and get over the situation. But have an honest conversation with yourself. And if that person, the cool thing, I have had the experience
Mhm.
of allowing, well, someone allowing me the space to be honest about where, what happened, what didn't happen. And then you're seeing
Yep.
a lot of stuff don't have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the other person.
Nothing.
But still in that, take a moment to self-reflect and think about different moments
Yep.
that where you could have shown up better, or where you might not have understood somebody's process or whatever, because we are set up on survival. We are really conditioned to be independent
Hate
women.
to
And so
believe that, but
sometimes
it's true. Yeah.
we
We
don't
are.
know when somebody is actively trying to show up for you and make things more simplified for you. Don't
That's
take the reign of, I got to do this, I got to do that, and somebody allow them the space
uh-huh.
to come
To
in.
show up for you.
Yeah, to show up. Allow them that space. Don't push
Allowing
them
that
away.
space. I love it. So this is part two of what them dates do. Thank you, Don, for coming on. I appreciate it. I love you, girl. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
This
having
is
me.
Womenology with SOLC Network. Thank you again. Please listen and subscribe. Normally I have some books, but I'm still reading those books I still mentioned, so I ain't got no new ones. Um, that's all I got, y'all. That's all I got.
If you can read, make sure you are by Tina Knows.
Oh,
This is not a sponsored
matriarch.
ad, but it's a good read. It is a good read.
Oh yeah, Daryl put matriarch like right here. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good book. I like that.
that's a
All
good book.
right, y'all. Bye. Oh, plug your podcast.
Oh, guys, I have an amazing podcast on the SOLC Network with Daryl Frierson, our CEO, executive producer of everything, called Everyone Needs an Aquarius. You guys really do need Aquariuses in your lives. And I also have a personal podcast called Whiskey Sour Libations of Conversation. Rhea, I got to get you on. I don't know. I might have to upload this because this was a really good talk.
This was
This is
good.
this. I'm gonna have this uploaded.
Listen, do it.
Yeah, and
It's all good. Yes.
yeah, and getting back into the space of like consistently creating and writing and just having a good time. So, and my candles will be back soon. I'm about to send another order out. So,
Yes, I'm so happy that you back to your candles. Oh, I just remembered something. I know we're trying to close, but what works is that journal prompts. I just thought about that. So on Womenology Instagram, I'm gonna post some more journal prompts, and then y'all tell me or y'all like send us in the comments and just write some of those prompts. It talks about dating. It talks about loving yourself. It talks about making sure you're giving yourself what you need before you are able to give the other person what you need.
yes,
So I just thought about that.
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
yes, this is Womenology. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe. Bye.